I am back with a machine that hasn't been seen for quite a while on my channel, and that's my Apple II Plus clone here by Bell and Howell. A lot of stuff has happened to this thing, explains why it's still in pieces again. And in the restoration video, which it did come with the included backpack, which is not on it because I needed to take the lid off constantly, because of some stuff that was going on with either the RAM card and some other stuff, and plus I had no disk drive, I couldn't do much with it. So I kind of put this thing up on the shelf for a while until I got some parts gathered around. A 5 1/4 floppy drive, one of these I/O controller cards. As it was loading ADD Pro, and it was trying to format a floppy, this card blew a bunch of capacitors. I pulled the RAM card out and I went to power cycle. It blew the reefer cap out of the power supply. So I picked up another RAM card. So this, I repaired the power supply, and this Disc 2 controller card, yes! I just realized I didn't hear that headbang. Oh no. When all those caps and stuff blew, it didn't knock out the drive, did it? Still not headbanging on this. So I tore this drive completely apart, took the analog board out here, unplugged everything, I cleaned the read-write heads, I lubed it up. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and yes, I am back once again with the Apple II Plus Bell and Howell clone here to see if I can get it working again. So yeah, I know I just did a video on this like 2-3 weeks ago, but I am bound and determined. I want to get this thing, whatever it is issue, figured out. I'm bound and determined. I want to get this thing fixed because when I was doing the previous video, I was doing some prep work for it. I checked my analytics for the channel for 2023 because that's the last video was a 2023 recap. The last time I even messed with this in terms of a video was 2021, specifically January 2021. So basically 3 years I've had this thing and made zero progress on the RAM issue, or whatever the issue, whatever the motherboard issue is. I'm assuming a RAM issue, but I don't know much about these systems. So anyway, I hit up Facebook on an Apple II enthusiast group, and I asked for advice. It's good advice. I'm not saying it's not good advice, but kept telling me to, run the assembly monitor RAM program and to run the ASCII Express thing to try and load software in. I'm just going to start back at square one. I pulled all the cards out. It's got the full complement of RAM. So I'm going to run the assembly monitor for RAM test, and we're just going to start from square one in this video because I want to see this thing work, and we're going to start square one and go from there. Got it plugged in, so let's see if it turns on. Good. Okay. Call 151. All right, I'm also trying to do this. This keyboard's kind of messed up. The encoder connection's not all that great. I need to fix it better, but should be C050. Okay, so when I hit enter, this is going to test all of the base RAM on the board. If there's any issues, it'll say where the RAM address issue is. If there's no issue, it won't give me an issue, so enter. I think that's all missing RAM. Where am I missing RAM at? Well, okay, so when I said that the games that would load were really simple games, it loaded Space Invaders just fine, or the clone anyway. And when I looked up the specs for that, it calls for a Apple II with only 16K. So hopefully I'm not missing an entire 32K of RAM on this machine. But it seems now switch to EF. Oof. Yeah, I was told by a few people on Facebook, one guy specifically, to run this test. And it seems like I'm getting good RAM test here, which is really strange because that means that I'm having either a RAM issue that this isn't showing, or I'm not having a RAM issue and I'm having something else. I need to load a diagnostic floppy onto this. For this video, I want to clarify something real quick. I actually did that. I had all this stuff still on my desk here. When I did the video, like, was it 3 weeks ago? Because of all the holidays, I haven't had time to be down here. But I ran that about 2-3 weeks ago. I asked for advice on an Apple II enthusiast forum. And I got a lot of information back, and I was basically told to run that assembly monitor, so I did. And I took pictures and I sent it to the guy. I said, hey, I'm getting this screen. Is this good? He goes, yes. So I don't think you have a RAM issue. You need to try and load some sort of diagnostic utility on here using ASCII Express. So, much to my hesitation, I kind of didn't want to because I had problems with it before, but I decided to try it anyway. I tried this phone that's recording on, my phone. I tried 2 laptops. I tried several cables, and it would not steadily load anything. I kept crashing or spitting out garbage or erroring out. I think there's a problem with the cassette port. So I was down to a few options. I could either A, go onto eBay, pick up another one of these, and find a way to write one of the diagnostic utility floppies using this, the newer style 5.25 drive, and then put it onto here and see if it'll load it. Well, the problem with that is the 2GS is having some issues with ADD Pro, so I couldn't use that method anyway. Option 2 is to get, again, one of those cards and like a floppy emu or something and try to load it that way. Well, the problem is floppy emus are kind of pricey. I mean, it's not that they're not worth it, but the problem is, again, I would also need to get that 5.25 card. And then I really wouldn't, because then there's no guarantee that it would work. So the cheapest option that I could find to buy one of the original Apple Disc 2 controller cards from 1979. Actually, I think this is a later one. Yeah, 78. This is an early one, I'm sorry. Which is actually for the Apple II Plus here, or the 2 and the 2 Plus. So this was the cheapest option, and that's because I already had this little guy. This is basically just a emulator for a Disc 2 drive. Basically, the original drive that came with this, the floppy drive, this emulates just that, and you need the original card to make it work. Now, it can work with the later 19-pin style, but you need this style cable to 19 adapter, and everywhere I found, I couldn't find one that was cheap enough. And besides, I still didn't have a way to write a 5 1/4 floppy. So this, I just preload some disk images onto the SD card, some diagnostic stuff, and we're going to, well, I'm going to load them up and see. All right, got it plugged in. And if you do buy one of these are actually apparently pretty nice. I haven't used it because, well, I had no way to. But apparently you just load up, and I'll do a review on this thing because it's actually pretty nice. It's a little limited, but it's still pretty nice. Red stripe goes to pin 1. So we're going to put this in, yeah, we'll put it in slot 6. Okay, so I don't remember. I think it's floppy image 1 should be the Apple II dealer diagnostics disc, which is what this thing needs to test RAM. So that's what we're going to do. Fingers crossed. Oh, it's working. And it's loading something. Oh, yes! Yes, it works. No, I was actually a little hesitant about that card working because, sometimes with stuff that old, you don't know if it's going to work. But what do we got? Use escape to go up and down. Okay, so RAM test, ROM test, programmer's aid, keyboard test. I know the keyboard's wonky, so it doesn't. Game paddle button test. I have no way of testing that. Tape read write verify test. That might be good for later. Color bar test and card test. I might do that later once I do the RAM test. So, RAM test. Motherboard 2, motherboard RAM test. Okay, return to begin, escape to abort. Okay, ooh, it's doing stuff. I swear, if it's something stupid like 4 or 5 chips on here are dead. A bunch of question marks. Did it stall? Please don't lock up on me. You're my only hope, you little thing. I should call that Obi-Wan Kenobi because it's my only hope at this point. Oh no. So I've actually seen this screen before. When I was trying to load up the other ASCII Express website stuff. This is what it would do. It would just lock up here and then just freeze. But it changed. So maybe not. Please, please. It changed again. Maybe it's actually going to work. Please, fingers crossed. Ooh. Okay, bad or missing RAM chips using inverse field. D7. D7, which one's D7? Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one in from the left in the second bank. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one right here. So in theory, if I pull this chip out and replace it with the good one, it should work. So we're gonna do that real quick. Yeah, there's a dead chip. All right. Do I have any spare chips? So I'm gonna steal one from this dead 16K card that blew the caps on. So hopefully it turns out to be good. All right, so we've replaced the dead RAM chip with a replacement one that I took off the I took it off the dead 16K card. Hopefully it works. It should, because this one's from the 16K RAM card as well. I don't know what I did with the original chip that was taped here. I think I assumed it was bad because it was taped here and static and that kind of stuff. So I kind of assumed it might have been dead. And it tested it good anyway when I did the RAM test a little bit ago, or a while ago. And this one was replaced at some point prior to the restoration. I don't care if they all match, have the Apple logo and stuff, because as long as I have a working system, I don't care, as long as it all works. But if this one doesn't work, I'll just keep pulling chips off of the RAM card until I find a working one. And if none of those work, then I'll pull them off of the newer orange 16K card until I find a working one. And if not, then I'll make sure I at least can order some 4116 chips until I get a working 48K and a working 16K card. So let's just do the RAM test and see if the thing works. And on that note, I also swapped out the monochrome composite monitor because this is a color composite monitor. It's the Commodore, I think 1802. It's a kind of a later one. In fact, I think it's kind of the more, quote, budget one that came out with the 64C. I think this is actually less desirable because it uses cheaper components and stuff, so it doesn't have the best, not the best quality, but it has a color bar test on top of also with RAM test, or ROM test. So my thought process is the RAM test pass, get the base system to work, get the 16K card to work, and then make sure the color composite system works, and then you just go from there. But that's assuming the RAM test works, so let's just run it. And I apologize for the color banding problem. I'm not sure why it flashes with the band though. That's kind of, maybe somebody can explain that. Yes, yes. Oh, this means that all my RAM's working. I should now have a base 48K system now. Man, that's perfect. Oh, this is awesome. Now I just need to test that 16K RAM card, and then run the RAM test again, and the language card test, and see what's dead on that. So let's try it. Okay, let's pull out. I'm gonna set this one aside because that's clearly a good chip. Make sure like it's plugged in. Yeah. And yeah, I have that that thing upside down because with the cable, it's lighter than the cable is, so it kind of just keeps flipping it. So, all right. Okay, so where's the card test? Graphics tablet, AppleSoft integer ROM card, language card. Wouldn't those two be the same thing? Ooh, I can test the disk IF card or the printer card serial. Okay, but I don't have any of those cards. So, language card. Okay, so if that stops, then just power off and try it again. If it dies again, replace RAM chip until it works. Well, that's okay. Oh, okay. I have one dead chip. So it's assuming that I have. Okay, so it's assuming I'd have a regular language card. So it would want me to replace that one. But what does that one translate to on that one when all the RAM chips are in a line? So maybe it goes A1, B1, C1, D1, A2, B2, 32, D2. Or, I don't know. I'll just replace, I'll just start swapping chips out until it starts working. Okay. So I just spent the past, like, half an hour with that card. I pulled all the RAM chips off, and I was, basically swapping around to see if I could find a pattern. And I think I figured it out. I think I finally found which one it was. So, let's do card test. Yeah, I've ran this thing like 12 times now. But yeah, I pulled off every RAM chip off that thing and just basically was replacing, got to the point where I was replacing one RAM chip at a time until it failed. And then this is the one that fit was that finally died, or registered it dying. So this was actually the third to last chip on the card. So we'll pretend this one was a chip. It had all the RAM chips in a line. It was the third one in. This is the one that tested dead the last time I ran this, so now I should have all good chips on here. Yes! Yes! Okay, so that means I have the full... Oh, I have a full 64K Apple II. Oh, okay. Proceed with test. What does this do? Everything's... Yes, this is good. I think. I don't understand what any of these mean. I think it means they're good. For monitor ROM test. Now testing auto start monitor. Oh, cool. I'm not sure why that's part of why the 16K card is involved with the auto start. Okay. Yes. Oh. Okay, so now I'm kind of curious about the ROM test. Just make sure there's no issues. Why is there no... Oh, I don't have the speaker plugged in anymore. I forgot I unplugged... There we go. I forgot I unplugged the speaker because I was testing some other stuff out. But, oh, sweet. Retesting the... Oh, it's just doing that again. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so there's no reason for me to test the keyboard because I know it's got issues. I have no idea what that means, what that does. I don't have the paddles for this. This has that weird 8-pin DIN analog style. I don't have any controllers for this. But I can test the color bar. Okay, what's it say? Just settings on one or both of the pots listed below. If acceptable color level cannot be reached, replace motherboard and return defective one. Yeah, I 100% doubt that if I called Apple and said, hey, my Apple II Plus is defective, can you exchange it? That they would, yeah, right. I doubt they have like pallets of these motherboards sitting around anymore. Can be adjusted. Okay. Oh, look at that. 16 colors. Looks like we have a dark red, dark purple, a lighter purple. I think that's supposed to be black, brown, dark blue, light blue. Looks like another black, gray, pink, green, yellow, light green, white. Okay. And we have the rainbow text, which, if I remember from 8-Bit Guy's Apple II How Does It Work video, I think this is normal for the text to be rainbowed on color composite when in like a graphics mode. So cool. Okay, and since I don't remember what's on this SD card in terms of floppy images, I'm gonna go pop that into my computer real quick, figure it out, and then I will come back and test some different floppies and see what loads. Okay, and I'm back. All right, so it starts at 0. So 0 should be Oops. Wrong one. Ah. Okay. Reset. Okay, so 0 should be DOS 33. So PR number 6. Yes! And this doesn't matter because I think this would still load if it had like only loading integer basic into memory. Cool. Oops. Sweet. Okay. So we know image 1 was the Apple II diagnostic. 2 should be ProDOS. And ProDOS needs 64K, so if it loads with this, if it loads with full 64K, that means I have 64K, and it'll work. Otherwise, it'll give me an error saying you need 64K. Yay! Oh, that's so cool. Oh, duh. I have ADD Pro on here, fast disk, on shrink, block word, Mr. Fix-It, make small, bass. I can just click the basic. Yes! I downloaded a bunch of diagnostic flop stuff like Apple Cillin. What was the... Okay, this one says it's Apple II Sys Utility 3.2. I don't know if it's going to load, 'cause I think that needs 128K. I think it's meant for the two... Oh. Of 1990. Yeah, okay, so this one doesn't... Nope, okay. Alright, so this is the last image on this SD card. This is actually an Apple II specific version of DOS 3.3. See? From 1980. This is actually pretty cool. I love this. Oh, this makes me so happy that it's running an operating system again. This thing has not ran an operating system since I got it 3 years ago. Oh, cool. What's color demo? That's no. Run. Is it run? Ooh, it is run. Cool. So yeah. Oh, this is gonna be so cool. Which would you like? Oh, okay. Black, magenta, dark blue, purple. Dark green doesn't look right. Gray, medium blue, light blue, brown, orange, gray, light green, aqua white. Okay, so the only color that's not right is maybe dark green. So I might actually have to do some adjustments, but it does seem to work. So, what's standard color numbers? Cool. What's the kaleidoscope? Oh, that's cool. Oh, I'm so glad I plugged in this color monitor. This is awesome. All right, so now I'm gonna go get it set up on the desk over there, and we'll try out some games. Tuck that into that. Oh, that fits in that smaller slot. Perfect. Set that back a little bit in case I have to wiggle the encoder board. I still have to fix that, but that's minor stuff. The board works. Okay, now I got it all set up over here and the camera in a weird spot because, well, this way I can see what I'm doing. I've got the SD card I had in there, which has a bunch of like ROM and RAM test utilities. Like I said, I wanted to fully test this thing, and it worked. Just as the Apple II Plus diagnostic utility just worked. The only thing I needed. So this one I'm just going to put, it's only I think it's a 16 megabyte SD card. So I'm just going to put like DOS 3.3, ProDOS, and a couple of the like basic, you know, utility stuff. This one though is one that's got a bunch of game images on it that I don't know if it will fully work, because I think some of these I downloaded will need 128K. In fact, I think the first one on here does need 128K. All right, so boot it up with image 0. I know what it is, and I don't think it's actually going to boot. Yeah, 2.4 of 16. So this is actually a pretty recent game. Angry Birds. Yeah, somebody made an Angry Birds demake for, oh man, the Apple II line of computers. And specifically, it needs 120. Yeah, it needs Apple IIe or better. So you need a 128K system. I don't have 128K in this Apple II. They do make 128K cards for these things though, and it actually probably would have been cheaper than buying a 16K card, ironically. But yeah, Image 1, which is an Apple II Plus game. I think it requires 48K. Oops. And I know what it is because I went through and wrote them down. Castle Wolfenstein, the classic. What controls? I don't have paddles. I do have a Apple joystick, but it's for like the 2GS and the 2E that has the 9-pin port on the back, so I need to find some paddles for this, but we'll just Jesus. Okay, so yeah, I have no idea to play Wolfenstein. So now it's going to save the game of me being killed. Awesome. Disk image 2 should be a staple of the Apple II. The Oregon Trail, and that looks good on color composite. Oh, I almost want to use just this monitor for my Apple II. It's kind of blasphemy that it says Commodore, but hey, you know what? What is your choice? A banker from Boston, a carpenter from Ohio, a farmer from Illinois. Well, technically, these two kind of suit me the best because I do have some carpentry courses I took, and I was actually only like a year-ish away from actually becoming a carpenter. And I grew up in a rural area, so we'll just be a farmer. First name, Casual. Other 4 names, wife, kid, friend, call him Dog. What's your name, man? Dog. Going back to 1848. Look at the colors here. That actually looks really good. When do you want to leave? We'll do March. It's a nice spring. Okay, cool. So, uh-oh. It might actually need to boot from that one. No, there might be something wrong with... Okay, so there's something wrong with the image on Prince of Persia. I'm not sure what that's supposed to say. I think, is there a problem going on? Spy versus spy. That looks really... I mean, it's bright and colorful, but it looks kind of weird. Do I stick it? No. I can't play without a joystick. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Blade boot 6.8. Oh. Ooh, test drive. Cracked by the blade. Oh, okay. So these are all cracked versions. Oh, listen to that one speaker sound. This actually pretty cool. Okay, so I need to go through some of these images and see which ones works and don't work, because clearly some of them are not. Classic. Well, that's not right. Okay, yes, I don't think it's a RAM or ROM issue now. I think I'm just having a problem with some of these disk images not wanting to load up correctly. Which is fine, because they're not on floppy, they're on SD cards, so I can just keep taking them on and off as much as I want and testing things out. It seems to be working just fine. This is amazing. It's loading DOS, it's loading ProDOS, it's loading games. Within reason, obviously it's having some disk image issues, which could just be, there's something wrong with the image file I downloaded, some corruption. But I'm so happy to see this thing load an operating system. It's been a long time coming for this. It's a sigh of relief that I got this iconic, historic computer working and basically fully functional. It's really exciting, actually, and also a little frustrating. And I'll kind of explain why. So in the 3 years since I've had this thing, since I saved it from the scrapyard and I did the restoration on it, this thing has had a massive, what I assume to be a massive issue. It wouldn't load anything from ASCII Express, no matter what cable I used, no matter the audio source. And if it did load something, it would either just load absolutely pure garbage on screen, or it would load very simple small RAM things. So something simple like that to something catastrophic like the RAM card blowing its caps, the power supply blowing its refa cap, and one of those damaging the disk controller card. So I was adamant that there had to be something massive wrong with this board. And that it would probably never get diagnosed unless I threw some hardware at it, which I eventually ended up having to do with the disk controller card and the floppy emulator. And basically in the month that I did, since the previous video, when I decided to ask for help on a Facebook group, I've made more progress in 1 month than I did in 3 years. In fact, more specifically, I've made more progress in 2 weeks chipping away at this thing than I did in 3 years. And even more specifically, about an hour of running images off an SD card than I have in 3 years. And all it boiled down to was a single, I think it was this a 4K RAM chip or 1K RAM chip? Actually, I don't know how big it's, I think 4K. But anyway, a single RAM chip on the board. Technically 2, because this one was in the new RAM card, but I don't know how many were dead on the old RAM card. Yeah, that's all it ended up being. I was expecting, you know, this ROM shot, this IC shot, these capacitors are screwed, you know, there's something wrong with the CPU. I was expecting something to be wrong with this majorly, and it ended up being something pretty simple. And the whole reason is because, well, there's a gremlin in this little thing. There had to have been. So I know enough about Apple II that I could do what I did when I diagnosed this thing, which was test power and grounds on chips and that kind of stuff. But obviously there was a gremlin in here that was sitting there looking at me going, "You want to fix it yourself?" No. And it was literally because I decided to break down and just ask for help and start over from square one from people who know way more than I do, which again is not saying much because I don't know much about Apple II. So literally the gremlin was probably sitting there going, "Oh man, you asked for help, loser," and left, and then ended up just being a single little problem. Oh, but that's the joys of working on these old retro computers. Regardless of all that, a-hole gremlin or not, massive motherboard problem or what the tiny problem ended up being, it's now fully working. It's now fully functional. It's loading standard DOS, 64K Pro DOS. It's loading games for the first time in 3 years. Obviously, it's having some issues loading some of these games. I don't know if it's an image issue or not. I assume it's just an image issue. Yeah, it's fully working for the first time in 3 years. I am more than thrilled and excited for this. It's been a long time coming. It's a huge sigh of relief. I'm super happy and thrilled about it because obviously it's a fully restored 8-bit machine now, minus the keyboard, but that's future stuff. Speaking of future stuff, you're going to be seeing this thing quite a bit more often this year. Not only am I just on a 8-bit and Apple II kick, but also because I kind of plan on this thing taking 2 or 3 videos to diagnose. Not in a, I'm going to milk this for content kind of thing, but more of a, it's going to be more than just, you know, a RAM chip. So it's going to take 2 or 3 videos worth of me dinking with it to get it working. So obviously now, those videos that I had planned for that are going to be set to, I want to see if I can get ADD Pro to run here. Actually, I want to see if the cassette port works now. I don't know where my aux cords all went because I haven't needed them for a while. That's the thing, I want to see if I can get this thing to load ADD Pro, and also I obviously want to find a way to make physical floppies for this thing, because that's an end goal for me for this, is I want this thing to boot under its own power from an Apple II floppy, whether it's Pro DOS, DOS 3.3, a game, doesn't matter. I want to see it load and boot up from a floppy. That's the ultimate goal for this thing, for me anyway, is to do that. And on that subject, I didn't realize there's a crap ton of upgrades I can throw to this thing as well. There's a sound card for these things, the Mockingbird. I don't know how many games would actually take advantage of that. And the reason why I kind of say that is because I think there was either 8-Bit Guy or an LGR video, or one of the two, where they talked about the Mockingbird for the Apple II line. Only like a handful of games actually supported it. You know, who knows? That might be something at some point in the future. I definitely want to throw a super serial card in here for ADD Pro, regardless if the cassette port works. There's a CPU accelerator for these things to bump it up to, I think, like, was it 7 megahertz, which is blazing fast for this thing. There's a 128K RAM upgrade card for these things that are made new. There's a hard drive solution card for this thing in terms of the reactive micro turbo drive. Plus there's the floppy emu that does what this thing can do and vastly more. There's just so many neat things for the Apple II that I can throw at it. But the only real thing I'm concerned about getting right now is either I want to get a 5.25 card anyway, so I can use the 2GS's 5.5 quarter drive to make floppies should ADD Pro work. But I do want to get my hands on original Disc 2 drive. Not the Bell and Howell one, because those are stupidly expensive. But I do want to track down one of the original Disc 2 drives for the Apple II that plug into the 20-pin card. And I don't care the condition of it, really. I could go on eBay and find one that just says, in rough shape. Because I'm going to repaint it anyway to match the Bell and Howell unit. Not in a, I'm trying to trick somebody kind of way. Because obviously I'm going to put like a badge or something on it that says reproduction Bell and Howell drive or something. That way people know it's not an original one. Because then I can have the original esque drive for an Apple II Plus. That way I don't have to keep stealing it from the 2GS once I get that thing restored. But again, that's all future stuff. Because again, I am on an 8-bit kick. I haven't been showing these things a lot of love lately in the past year. So between this, the Commodore, the Atari, the 2GS, which is technically 16-bit, and the 1099A, which is again 16-bit. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing this thing a lot more in the future. So be on the lookout for that. But with that being said, I want to thank you all very much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're one of the guys I talked to and asked for advice from on the Apple II group on Facebook, and you do want me to acknowledge you, please put your name down in the comments, and I will put your name in the next Apple II video I do as a thanks, because seriously, you guys helped out a lot. Even though it was all stuff that I'd already done, it was literally just being told to do it from somebody who knows vastly more than me, which again is not saying much because I know enough Apple II stuff to do this. Besides that, if you have any thoughts or questions about this thing, put down in the comments. If you want to see me run any games on here and do maybe a short gameplay playthrough of it, put it down in the comments, because I have a way to load them, so I might as well. And if you can think of any need to have floppies to make, if I can get ADD Pro to work, put it down in the comment section. Don't forget to check out all my other social medias. And also with that, the obligatory YouTuber thing, don't forget to check out the merch. I am ending the Christmas themed merch at the end of January. So if you haven't checked it out or got anything from that yet, be sure to do that. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.